7 seconds left in the quarter. Jones unable to hook it in. Reese the O-board. Reese the putback.
First ever All-Star game come on an offensive board. Leads the WNBA in that category.
Reese running the floor. Oh, what a pass! Jonquil Jones.
Imagine this: you're on top of the world, having just scored 19 points in an Olympic gold medal game, and then you make a decision that shocks the entire sports world. You turn your back on your home country's professional league. That's exactly what Gabby Williams did, and her decision has sent shockwaves through the WNBA and beyond. But why would an athlete of her caliber choose to walk away from the league that so many dream of playing in? This is not just a simple case of a player opting out. This is a scandal that could expose deep-rooted issues within the WNBA, issues that could threaten the very future of the league. Gabby Williams' decision to reject the WNBA and the Chicago Sky was not made lightly. It was a decision driven by more than just the allure of a bigger paycheck overseas. It was a decision born out of frustration, disillusionment, and a profound sense of betrayal. Williams' story is one that forces us to ask hard questions about the WNBA, its treatment of players, and whether the league is truly living up to its promise of being the pinnacle of women's professional basketball. To understand the gravity of Williams' decision, we must first look at the financial landscape of professional sports and how it impacts the choices athletes make. In the world of sports, money isn't just important, it's everything. The NFL, with its multi-billion-dollar revenue, can afford a league-wide salary cap of $60 million, a figure that dwarfs the budgets of many other sports leagues. But even this pales in comparison to the financial clout of international basketball leagues, where players like Gabby Williams can earn up to $1 million a year. For a player who has already proven herself on the biggest stages, the choice between a modest WNBA salary and a lucrative overseas contract is a no-brainer. But this scandal goes far beyond mere finances. If money were the only factor, the WNBA's new TV deal, poised to increase the league's salary cap significantly, should have been enough to lure Williams back. Yet she remains steadfast in her decision to stay away. Why? Because this isn't just about money, it's about respect, or the lack thereof. It's about playing time, treatment by management, and perhaps most disturbingly, the possibility of serious behind-the-scenes issues that have yet to be fully uncovered. Consider this Gabby Williams, a player who has shown time and again that she can deliver under pressure, who scored 19 points and grabbed 7 rebounds in an Olympic gold medal game, has been driven to a point where she feels more valued overseas than in her own country's premier basketball league. What does that say about the state of the WNBA? It says that the problems run deep, much deeper than anyone on the outside might realize. And it's not just Gabby Williams who's feeling the pinch. The WNBA has seen a growing trend of players choosing to ply their trade overseas, where they are not only paid more but also treated with a level of respect and appreciation that seems to be lacking in the WNBA. Brittney Griner is another high-profile example of a player who found greater financial success and recognition internationally. This trend is not just a blip on the radar, it's a sign of a systemic problem within the WNBA that, if left unaddressed, could lead to a mass exodus of talent. Angel Reese, the LSU standout who had hoped to join forces with Williams in the WNBA, has been left reeling by Williams' decision. Reese's attempts to recruit Williams to the league were met with a response that was as cold as it was revealing. Williams didn't just reject the offer, she did so with a pointed criticism of the Chicago Sky, the team that she believes wronged her so deeply. "They did me dirty," girl Williams told Reese, a statement that has since become a rallying cry for those who feel the WNBA has failed its players. This isn't just a rejection of an offer, it's a rejection of the WNBA's entire culture. Williams' decision to stay away is a damning indictment of how the league treats its players, especially those who dare to prioritize their national teams or personal well-being over the demands of their WNBA franchises. For a league that prides itself on being progressive and player-centric, this is a deeply troubling revelation. The Chicago Sky, once a team with high hopes and a strong roster, now finds itself at the center of this controversy. Despite recent leadership changes and attempts to rebuild, the the team's reputation has been severely damaged by Williams' public criticism. And if a player of Williams' stature feels that the Sky and by extension, the WNBA does not value her, what does that say about the treatment of lesser-known players? The answer is stark and unsettling. The WNBA may not be the player-friendly league it claims to be. This situation raises critical questions about the WNBA's future. Can the league retain its top talent when players like Gabby Williams are choosing to take their skills overseas? How can the WNBA compete with international leagues that offer not only higher salaries but also greater respect and opportunities for growth? And most importantly, what will it take for the WNBA to reform itself before it's too late? Gabby Williams' story is not just about one player's decision, it's about a league at a crossroads. The WNBA is facing an existential crisis, one that could determine whether it continues to grow and thrive or whether it slowly fades into obscurity. The stakes could not be higher. If the WNBA is to survive this scandal, it must take immediate and decisive action. This means addressing the financial disparities that drive players overseas, but it also means something much deeper. The league must overhaul its culture, ensuring that every player feels valued, respected, and supported. This is not just about paychecks, this is about creating an environment where players want to stay, where they feel that their contributions are recognized and appreciated. The financial side of the equation is crucial, of course. The WNBA's new TV deal, which could potentially increase the league's salary cap to new heights, is a step in the right direction. But it's not enough. The league must find ways to further boost salaries and make it financially viable for players like Gabby Williams to choose the WNBA over overseas leagues. This might mean renegotiating sponsorship deals, increasing merchandise sales, or even restructuring the league's revenue-sharing model to ensure that more money goes directly to the players. But money alone won't solve the WNBA's problems. The league needs to foster a culture that truly values its players, not just the superstars, but every player on every roster. This means listening to players' concerns, addressing their grievances, and making sure that they feel heard and respected. It also means holding teams accountable for how they treat their players, ensuring that no player ever feels the way Gabby Williams does again. Moreover, the WNBA must do a better job of promoting its stars and building a fan base that is as passionate and engaged as those in men's sports. Despite having some of the best basketball players in the world, the WNBA still struggles with visibility and fan engagement. The league needs to create compelling storylines, build rivalries, and promote its players in a way that captivates fans and draws them into the world of women's basketball. This scandal has also brought to light the role of team management in the WNBA's woes. The Chicago Sky, for example, must take a hard look at its leadership and ask why a player like Gabby Williams felt so mistreated. Are other teams similarly failing their players? If so, the WNBA needs to step in and enforce higher standards across the league. Teams that cannot or will not treat their players with respect should face consequences, whether that's in the form of fines, loss of draft picks, or other measures. As the WNBA grapples with these issues, it's clear that the league is at a tipping point. Gabby Williams' decision to stay away is a symptom of a much larger problem, one that could have dire consequences for the future of women's professional basketball in the United States. The league's very survival could be at stake if it does not take the necessary steps to address the issues that have been brought to light. But amid all the doom and gloom, there is a glimmer of hope. Enter Caitlin Clark, the Iowa phenom who has been lighting up the college basketball world and is expected to be the #1 draft pick for the Indiana Fever. Clark is not just any player, she is a once-in-a-generation talent, the kind of player who can fill arenas and reignite excitement about women's basketball in America. The Indiana Fever, a team that has struggled in recent years, is now positioning itself to be the team everyone wants to watch. With Clark on the roster, they could become the WNBA's next great dynasty, a team that not only wins championships but also brings in fans, sponsors, and media attention. But can even a player as talented as Caitlin Clark save the WNBA on her own? The answer is no. While Clark's arrival in the league is undoubtedly exciting, the WNBA needs to do more than just hope that a few star players will save the day. The league must address the underlying issues that are driving players away, both financial and cultural. If the WNBA can do that, then it has a real chance to not only survive but to thrive in the years to come. But the clock is ticking. The WNBA cannot afford to wait. The league must act now, before more players like Gabby Williams decide that their future lies overseas. The future of women's professional basketball in America is at stake, and the WNBA's next moves will determine whether it continues to grow or whether it fades into irrelevance. Gabby Williams has sounded the alarm, and now it's up to the WNBA to respond. Will the league rise to the challenge and make the changes necessary to secure its future? Or will it continue down the path that has led to this crisis? The world is watching, and the stakes have never been higher. In the end, the WNBA's legacy will not be defined by this scandal alone, but by how it responds to it. Will the league be remembered as one that listened to its players, that took their concerns seriously and made the changes necessary to create a better future? Or will it be remembered as a league that failed its players, that ignored their voices, and ultimately paid the price? Gabby Williams has changed the conversation, and the WNBA can no longer afford to ignore the issues she has brought to light. This is a defining moment, not just for the WNBA, but for the future of women's professional sports. The league's next moves will determine its fate, and the world is watching to see what happens next.